Have you ever scrolled through your Steam library, staring at the dozens of games, thinking, which one of these will get me views? Yeah, same. The truth is, picking one game to play on your channel, whether it's the focus of your entire channel or just the next thing you're going to play, is a daunting and important choice. When you're trying to grow a gaming channel, getting this right matters a lot. So today I thought, let's make your life a little bit easier. I'm going to dedicate an entire video just to trying to help you pick the right game. We're going to talk about the types of games that help build entire careers. We're going to talk about chasing different trends. And most importantly, we're going to help you understand your audience and who you are as a gaming creator, which is just as important. And by the way, if anyone's ever told you, yeah, just play Minecraft. Sure, I guess, but it's a little more nuanced than that. So let's dive in. Before we get into genres and specific games, let's talk strategy because it's important to know what kind of channel you're building. The structure of your channel will really help determine the kind of game you play on it. Number one is the single game channel, and I mean a channel that is dedicated to one game and nothing else. When you think of these channels, think about the type of creator who would play only Minecraft or a game like RuneScape. The first thing these channels have to decide is that game, and it needs to be something that has that kind of longevity to it. You can't just play any old indie game and dedicate your entire channel to that because it doesn't have the same gravitas as a game like RuneScape that's been around for over 20 years. Your main goal, your priority, should be to become the go-to person in that community for whatever it is you're going to do in the game. So for RuneScape, maybe you're really good at making specific accounts that are locked to a certain region, or maybe you're really good at making guides for how to level up certain skills. Once you have those very important decisions down, though, it becomes pretty straightforward to understand the types of ideas around the videos you're going to be making. With these types of games, there's always a new guide you can make or a new way to play that you can experiment with. It's important to remember with channels like this that the audience you're building are people who are just fans of that game. They're likely watching to learn something from you or to play alongside you. They're going to have their game on one screen and you on the other. The upside to channels like this is the really strong brand loyalty that the company who makes the game has already established for you. And it's that recognizability. You don't have to do a lot of marketing legwork here. You're tapping into an existing community of people who just love this game and love to see people cover it in different ways. The downside to channels like this are, of course, getting burnt out of playing one game for basically your entire career. There will always be new people willing to watch you play this game forever, but there's only one of you, and you're going to reach a point where you just kind of hit a wall and you need to take a break. But this style of YouTube channel works incredibly well if you are very, very passionate about a specific game and you are tapped well into that community. I've seen channels go from playing RuneScape to simply talking about RuneScape once they kind of, I think, reach that point of, okay, I kind of played this game in and out, what's next? Jimmy is a great example of this, having started out doing things like playing through every single quest in the order they were released to nowadays doing more or less video essays about RuneScape and MMOs at large. But if committing to one game sounds like a total nightmare to you, the next channel we're going to talk about is the genre channel. A channel that covers a specific genre doesn't focus on one type of game, they really focus on one type of audience. You might find these channels focusing on a particular category like MMOs, survival games, simulators, or even cozy games, which is not even really a genre, it's just kind of all over the place. This gives you a lot of wiggle room to try new things, but you really do need to understand the type of viewer that you are catering to. MMO viewers have a very specific way they play their games. They're always on some kind of grind. They don't really care if one day you pick up Roller Coaster Tycoon and you want to build theme parks for them. They're in it for the MMOs. So you still are kind of pigeonholed into one box, but it's a larger one. But with channels like this, and why I love channels like this, is that you really do get to set the tone. You can have people subscribing to you because of your personality and overall vibe, rather than just the game you're playing right now. Zach Scott Games is a prime example of this. He told me himself that it's not really about the genre. He does play a lot of Nintendo games, but really for him, it's all about the aesthetic. His audience is largely watching for him and his style of commentary. And it just so happens that he likes the same games that they do because he picks the games for himself off of pure vibes. Anyway, so you can think of the genre creator as kind of like the creator that picks a through line and really makes sure that's present throughout every single video they make. And that alone is tough to do, and the road to growth there can be a bit slow. But the next type of creator could grow pretty fast, but they have a whole different challenge to face, and they are called the trend hopper. At least that's what I'm calling them. They're the type of creator who plays not one game or one genre, but they play whatever is hot right now. These creators have to be on the cutting edge to determine what they're going to play next. One day it's going to be Repo, the next day it's going to be Schedule 1. They still need to be entertaining and engaging, but they also need to figure out how to find the games that are trending. This could lead to them streaming or recording a bunch of different games and realizing that, oh, that one didn't pay off, that one didn't pay off either. They're just kind of making bets over and over. Overall, it is important to just be on the cutting edge. If you missed the trend a little bit, that's sometimes okay. Schedule 1's been popular for a long time. Maybe by the time this video goes out, people will finally stop playing it, but it's had a really strong run. My quick bit of advice for channels who are hopping on different trends but struggling to really gain any traction is to try and play the game in a way that maybe people aren't considering playing it. I haven't played Schedule 1 myself. I kind of missed out on that one, but I kind of wonder, can you get rich in Schedule 1 by not selling drugs? If that's even a little bit possible, that might be worth making a video. So finding trending games, tough to do. Being creative with the ideas, especially if you're a smaller creator trying to gain some notoriety, that's also tough to do. But when I tell you that a trending creator can blow up overnight, I've seen it happen. It just takes being at the right place at the right time, so there's a little bit of luck involved, and also the skills needed to know what you're doing when you're posting videos. I'm done listing genres now. We're going to focus on the types of content that I've seen actually work in the gaming space. Our first type of game is perfect for you if you are into retro titles. Games like Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time are famous at this point, and to this day are still very popular to stream and watch across YouTube. The types of videos that work really well when playing these games really boil down to speedruns and challenges. Videos like, can I beat Mario without touching colors? Or how I fixed Lego Island's worst bug? Or I made Pokemon as hard as it could possibly be. This could apply to almost any game, but people love to watch content that takes a game and plays it a bit wrong, or breaks the rules, or creates new rules. Some more examples include channels like Metal Jesus Rocks, who delves into classic games, offering reviews and nostalgic content. There's also GameSack, who provides humorous, well-edited videos covering a wide range of retro gaming topics. If retro games aren't for you, though, let's talk about indie games, because these can be really fun to cover, considering just how many there are. There's always something new being released, and there's always a lot of really creative stuff going on in the indie space. People who cover indie games do tend to also trend hop a little bit, or they just want to maybe showcase a hidden gem. Whatever type of game you play, it's really important to have passion for that particular community, and you may benefit from low competition depending on how popular the game is, or maybe one day gets. Less competition is one of the pros of indie games, another one being the fact that there's just an endless supply to choose from. But because this is kind of in the trend hopping category, you are constantly taking little gambles here and there on spending a lot of time making a video that no one may ever see because the game just isn't that popular. To help temper that risk a little bit, if you do like to play a lot of indie games, I would highly recommend starting with more of a first impressions kind of video rather than one that does several episodes walking through the entire game. Or you could wait for the more well-established games to kind of surface, such as Dave the Diver or Hollow Knight or Celeste. These work really well in this space. I actually do want to go back a little bit and talk more about the ways in which you can find games that are about to blow up, because why not? I have a little more time. Steam Charts is a great resource to see what games are currently trending and how many people are playing them actively. Of course, following your favorite creators who might get these games early is a good way to stay on top of things. Or being in Reddit communities that talk about games similar to the ones that you enjoy is also really great, because Redditors will always kind of say, hey, have you guys heard about this game? It looks really cool. Or has anyone played this? I'm curious if I should buy it. Should I spend my money on it? Basically, look around the communities and see if new games are popping up and generating any kind of buzz. Before we get into the next type of game, let's cover a couple of cool example channels. We have the Indie Gamer, who spotlights and reviews indie games across multiple genres, helping viewers discover hidden gems. And then I Dream of Indie Games is dedicated to celebrating indie games with insightful reviews and gameplay. The next category is my favorite though, sandbox and survival games. You have games like Minecraft, Valheim, or something that just came out that I'm very much enjoying is RuneScape Dragon Wilds. I'd highly recommend it. Games like this give you an endless well of content ideas because people have been playing them for a long time, and there's so many ways to play them because they're always really open. They're sandboxes. You can do tutorials, build series, survival challenges. You can do multiplayer storylines, you name it. But the stuff that really pops in this space are things like 100-day challenges or anything that adds creative restraints to your playthrough. You try to play Minecraft, but without jumping. I'm pretty certain a few people have done that, actually. Setting weird rules for yourself takes something like Minecraft that's been played forever and adds a new spin to it. If you're successful, you get bragging rights. If you're unsuccessful, maybe you have a hilarious video that people still share around because it went so badly for you. There's tons of example channels out there. There's Neebs Gaming. There's Glock9, who focuses on survival gameplay. They particularly play 7 Days to Die. They offer engaging content for survival game enthusiasts. Now let's talk simulators. I need to put this in its own category because this is a trending genre right now. I mentioned Schedule 1 earlier. That's a essentially Drug Dealer Simulator, you also have games like Power Wash Simulator and House Flipper. These are just weirdly satisfying to watch. There's still so much room in the simulator space to break the rules and play these games in really funny ways. Example channels to call out include Quill18, who covers simulation and strategy games. They provide in-depth gameplay and tutorials. And then Party Elite, who focuses on city builders and simulation games specifically, offering, again, detailed analysis and gameplay. Next, let's talk about cozy and wholesome games. Over the past 5 years or so, this whole space has really blown up. Think games like Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, Palia. These are fantastic if you're the kind of person who enjoys a more chill gaming experience. These games typically feature a lot of storytelling and opportunities to design and add your own touches to them. Example channels include Iona and Peyton's Corner, both of them covering cozy games and wholesome games. In their videos, they tend to bring attention to lesser known, wholesome, cozy games, and they also play them on live streams. Let's talk next about evergreen games. Now, these do span a lot of different categories because we're talking Minecraft, Fortnite, Roblox, Pokemon, things like that. These games are very competitive because they've been around for so long, but they're also very well established, and there's so many different ways to play all of them. That is what made them evergreen in the first place. They're all very open to each player's own interpretation of them. Standing out here is going to require a unique style, though. Awesome titles and thumbnails, top-tier editing, and of course, creative ways to actually approach making the content in the first place. With games that are this well established, you're not going to be able to get away with just playing the game. You gotta add something new. Dan TDM and Stampy Longhead are also fantastic channels to look at for examples of the type of creator we're talking about here. Next, let's talk about party and social deduction games. These are games like Among Us, Repo, or Goose Goose Duck. All of them have in common that creators who thrive in this space are ones that really have their personalities driving the content. The editing has to be punchy, their energy has to be high. These are the types of videos where it should feel like a bunch of friends got together and are playing the game, because outside of YouTube, that's exactly how people are going to play it themselves. Games like this also trend really hard sometimes. So instead of listing example channels, what I'll tell you here is that just because something trends, and if you are considering yourself a trend hopping channel, doesn't mean you have to jump on it. If you feel like social deduction games aren't your cup of tea, maybe don't play those. Or if you only like social deduction games, ignore all the other trends and try and focus on which one of those is hot this week. Anyway, we're almost at the end of the list. Let's talk about competitive and FPS games. If you're playing Call of Duty or Valorant or Apex, your content has to really do something. You're going to need to be able to teach me how to play better or really make me laugh. Bonus points if you can do both. If you're not absolutely cracked at this game, your personality needs to carry the content. One example to look at could be Civvy11, who does play a lot of first-person shooters. Now let's talk story-driven games and RPGs. These are perfect games for long-form commentary, lore breakdowns, and cinematic walkthroughs. Games that fit really well in this category would be things like Skyrim or Baldur's Gate 3 or Fallout. What's really cool about these games is no matter how many people play them, everyone's going to have kind of a different approach just naturally, and audiences love to see a story just kind of play out through different creators' perspectives. These games also typically seem to be very good for video essays and deep dive kind of explainers. Annie Austin is a great example of this. He's never just playing a game, he's always just doing some kind of weird breakdown of some obscure detail of a game. Another example is the Dungeon Dudes. They actually do tabletop RPGs, and they do class guides, and they give storytelling tips. Let's say at this point you know your genre. What should you play next? One place I love to go is Twitch for this. You're always going to have your usual suspects at the top of the charts, but you will find games that are starting to rise to prominence and have a lot of views, thousands of viewers, games you may never have heard of before, and this is a great way to discover new titles. I also already mentioned Steam charts and following creators who tend to be kind of at the cutting edge of finding what's trending. I also hadn't yet mentioned our own tool though, vidIQ, which could help you with different search terms that are starting to trend in different gaming spaces. And I also want to just give you a few example subreddits too, because I do believe that Redditors are always looking for something new, and thanks to the way Reddit is built, stuff that is trending just kind of naturally rises to the top because people keep upvoting it. So if you're into retro games, there's r/retro gaming. If you like cozy games, there's r/cozy games. If you like indie games, there's r/indie games. If you like specific games like Minecraft or RuneScape, there are subreddits for those as well. Even if you don't like being on Reddit, just make an account and favorite those specific subreddits that you want to just kind of lurk in, and you will find some cool stuff. Now, the last thing we need to talk about is the fit. Did you pick the right game for you? You never want to play something just because you think it's going to get views. If it's something you don't like, it doesn't matter if you think it's going to get views. It's very likely that your version of the video won't get views because you don't like it, and the audience will see right through that. And it's really important to try not to have buyer's remorse. When you commit to doing a certain type of channel, you should really commit to that. Even if you see that some horror game is taking off right now and it looks so exciting, but oh man, I made a cozy, wholesome channel. What am I doing? It's so easy to fall into that trap. I promise you, you will be better off waiting for that next cozy inspiration, okay? So maybe play that horror game with your friends. You don't have to record it. In fact, it's probably better if you don't. Taking breaks is how you avoid burnout, especially if you're one of the channels I mentioned earlier who's hyper-focused on one game. And if you're the kind of person who is struggling to have time to play certain games on your channel, try to figure out a content production cycle that works for you. Something that I've seen done very successfully, for example. If you don't have a ton of time, maybe you stream the games. Maybe that's all you can do. Or maybe you could take clips from those streams and turn them into shorts, and that's not too big of a lift for you. Maybe you can re-edit the streams into really cool videos. That lets you repurpose content, and stuff like that can save you time. So look for ways to make these videos that fit with your just real life schedule. My biggest piece of advice is that YouTube is so hard because you can do anything within the rules. You can literally do anything, and you get analysis paralysis all the time. Getting this right and finding that focus is how you are going to win. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Watch this video next if you want to see what I would do if I was starting a brand new gaming channel today in 2025.